I wonder where Lou is.
I didn't see you there.
God. All right.
I'm a child.
All right. It's all right.
It's Masters Monday.
Yep. Monday after the Masters.
Yes.
So
And the little Irishman did it again.
he did. He did. Our guest actually had a really cool video. Outside of the people who play in the tournament, I don't know if many people have a cooler week than our guest today. We're just going to skip all the normal stuff. It's Masters week. Everybody watched. Rory won. Congratulations to him. It was really cool to see who stayed after to congratulate him. You know, Shane and Tommy Fleetwood.
Caddies.
The caddies.
Yeah, it was Team Europe.
Team Europe. And but let's bring him in and we'll let him introduce himself and maybe he'll bring me with him next year.
It's a huge Augusta tie-in this week. I love it.
Yeah. Mr. Augusta. He's the
Mr.
mayor
Augusta.
of Augusta. He's not the mayor, but he should.
He should be. Fair enough.
Yeah. Hey, it's the mayor.
You're not the only one that has told me that this week. I hung out with a politician from Chicago and she was like, "You need to run for Augusta mayor." I said, I'm doing a lot of other cool things in golf, so I don't know about all that.
I don't know if I want to give up my time to talk politics all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No, but
politics
it's been an amazing week. Masters week in Augusta. Awesome to see for the third time in history. Or Rory joining that awesome group of going back to back. And it was absolutely historic.
He low-key called it too, right? Last year when he won for the first time. It's like, be here next year, put the green jacket on myself.
Jacket on myself and have an empty seat next to me at the dinner.
Yeah. So that was that's cool. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Rory, but you can't deny the talent. I mean, the guy's 5'8", 5'9". He crushes the ball 340 plus yards. His touch, some of those shots late in the round, the touch that he has, that one, what was the putt on 16, right? From the fringe, off the green.
From the fringe?
Just unbelievable. And it's like in crunch time, he's been able to last 2 years, finish.
And he won the Masters in a way that wasn't normal for Rory McIlroy. Like, he hit the ball all over the park, like everywhere but the fairway. And getting it out there and down the fairway is his thing. Like, normally it's his irons or his putter. He's just off, just missing, and that's, playing at a high level the way they do. It happens. But for the way he won just shows how good he is. And I just feel like for 1A and 1B, the biggest names in golf, he doesn't get a lot. He gets no respect. Like, he kind of gets the other side of that.
He's overshadowed by Bryson because he's so big on, social media and YouTube and, obviously, Scotty Scheffler, you can't deny the talent there, but you're not wrong. And then, you got Liv, it's kind of still there, right? It's still, the drunk uncle, so to speak, and that's kind of hanging over everybody's shoulders, but he, and listen, Marcus, you said it, for the show, if you're in that tournament, you've won at the highest of levels, right? Like you belong there. So for him to come out and win 2 years in a row is, it's unbelievable. And he might be ascending later than, obviously Tiger came out of the gates, right? And he was just a revolution, but he might be ascending, catching fire again. He may go on a stretch now, his late 30s, early 40s, that we haven't really seen since Tiger came out. So it'll be interesting to see if he can stay consistent.
It'll be interesting to see him compete against Scotty, because Scotty was charging back up. It's like this 2026, Scotty spots you around. Like, he just has had one round, normally the first round, that he just isn't playing like himself. But also, the three of us play golf. One of us plays at a much higher level than two of us. But it's not easy. It is not easy. And the way they play it, it's like you said, Lou, like they're shooting at a bucket lid. Like, and like their miss is a cup. So,
Yep.
But all right. So, Marcus, you are the founder, CEO of Par 3, right?
Correct. Best
All
golf
right.
tour you never heard about.
Best golf tour you never heard about. Tell us about it. Let us hear about it.
Yeah. So we live in the same area, and
You are 5 minutes away from me right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe.
Um, in our area, we don't have any par 3 courses, and that's just changing because 'cause we've got the loop coming. That's gonna be at the patch, and I've actually got a tee time on Friday. I know you're playing with me on the 20th, but my tee time on Friday is 9:30 PM. So we'll have to talk about that, off air. But
Yeah.
the only par 3 courses that we had in our area was Augusta National par 3 course, and then we had Sage Valley par 3 course.
That you
And
can't sniff at.
exactly. So I wanted to create an opportunity for players of all skill levels to come out and play in an event. You've played in a couple of my events at Jones Creek, and what we do is we take full regulation golf courses, short courses, par 3 courses, and we run events on them from under 160 yards. This way, women, men, juniors, and seniors can all compete. Just makes it fast, makes it fun, makes it social.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, there's one shot in golf that everybody asks about. How many hole-in-ones do you have? And we'll piggyback that in a second with you. But, everyone asks that. How many do you have? And if you have none, you know how close you were to one or however many. I've been very close a few times, but none. Um, I've seen someone blow out the cup, and then it's like, does that count? Does this? Yes, it counts. Like, but on your tour, you have 18 chances, and I know some people say, oh, well, that doesn't count. Whatever,
Well, we don't play by the USGA rules of golf. We actually came up with our own rules.
even better.
But if you're looking at the USGA rules of golf, what what the what they say is if you're playing from a tee box in a tournament from at least 50 yards and you hole out from your first shot, that's a hole in one.
Yeah,
So even according to their standards, people may say, well, oh, okay, it doesn't count. Listen, you made a hole in one. If you don't want to count it in your official statistics, you don't have to, but you're going to be excited. And if it's
yeah,
gonna pay you, money, skin money, or,
whatever.
$1,000 hole in one, like you're going to be very excited. I do have to shout out, and we want to talk about my hole in one, but we did an event at Jones Creek on Wednesday Masters Week. This is the second time that we did it. We had over 400 people show up, one versus one, closest to the pin, bracket style challenge. We came up with this last year, and we were like, let's just try it. Uh, to keep people entertained and to go fast, the whole event takes about an hour and a half because you're going one versus one. So, Lou, if I had a shot closer than you, I get to advance. If you hit it closer to me, I'm eliminated. And winner won $1,000. We're going to try to make this grow, try to bring in some more sponsors. We actually had our local ballpark, FP Park, have a meeting with them later this week, and they want to do an event at the ballpark. So I don't know exactly what that would look. That would be very cool. The shot that we hit was from 131 yards. There was a gentleman that played in it, and the next day he sent me a picture that he made a hole in one on the simulator from 131 yards, same shot. And I thought that was very interesting because if he would have done it the night before, that would have paid out $25,000 to that gentleman. And he makes a little, maybe double that. So almost half of his annual salary he would have made on one shot. How
That'd
exciting.
been a heck of a bonus.
It would have been a heck of a bonus.
Yeah. Yep. And I've played in it the 2 years. The first year I was running late, so I didn't get to hit balls. And I hit a big old hook, pin high, big old hook left. And the guy I was playing against put it like 10 feet. See you later. This year, I was like, I'm between pitching wedge and 9 iron. Like, like, I was like hitting balls, pitching wedge. It's pitching wedge for me. It's pitching wedge. And then I didn't hit balls for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I was in base 6, which was kind of a nightmare in the beginning, trying to figure out who is who and who is replacement of who. And, but that's an event. That's how things go. It's always that way. And especially when it's Masters Week, if they had something else to do, they probably just went and did that. Like, they're not going to call and say, hey, I'm not going to be there.
Right.
But so we're figuring it out. And then I was like, I'm going 9 iron, fly the pin, drop it on the green. It comes back a little bit. Great. The guy I'm playing puts it 17, 13 feet. I'm out. But like most people are like in the beginning are out because of terrible shots, not two people on the green. And I was like, of course.
Well, just me personally, I've actually emceed the event the last 2 years. We've had some people that have offered to MC the event, and people with millions of followers on Instagram, TikTok, all of that. We haven't been able to get them there necessarily. but it doesn't mean that they're not going to come next year. So I've even had backup C's cancel on me or whatever. However, I've emceed the event the last 2 years, but I also played in the event, which that makes it kind of tricky. But last year I actually made a run to the Final Four, which I don't know how people feel about this, but you're not really supposed to win your own event. I mean, like, hey, all you'll come out, you'll pay your money, and I'll walk away with the $1,000 or whatever. I don't think that looks good, but I enjoy playing in it. So what I will say is I got eliminated on the first shot this year. I had a really bad shot. And I got another guy was borrowing my clubs. And so I used a different club. I'm not blaming anything. I'm just saying I got eliminated on the first shot. And I believe I had more fun this year than I had last year. And that's what it's all about. Coming
Yeah.
out, everybody's, having a party. We got, several food vendors that were there. They were able to show off
Several.
local brands. We had some
Several.
national companies there. Yes, several, probably too many. But again, we're learning as we go. But it's a fun event.
Yeah, it's a great time, and then you got which you and I went last year to Rao's,
Reyes.
which that food is amazing. Like it's the best meal that they've ever just thrown together. Like taken over a space and thrown together, and then they're out in a week. But
So Rayos's came the last 3 years, and they get better every single year. I know the Mannings were there, several influencers, Russell Wilson, just on down the line. So you're able to kind of rub shoulders with those guys, and it's just a cool opportunity. I'll say for myself, this was a crazy Masters week
yeah,
because I wasn't able to just to go to like one hospitality house. I got invited to several. And so it was kind of challenging of which one that I'm actually going to choose. So we would literally like ride by a hospitality house, see what was going on. If the party's popping, we stay. If not, we go to the next one, and just just had a really cool time Masters Week. It is, somebody called it this. It's the Coachella for CEOs. There's big
yes,
business deals that are
that's
made.
a great way to put it.
I made some very invaluable connections this week. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I at Rao's last year, there was one person who did not show up at our table. It was Ryan Reynolds. I was like, "Who was it?" And they were like, "Yes." And I was like, "At this table?
Like
Like right here?"
Little ugly me.
It's funny because I told my wife, and she's like, "I don't believe you." I said, "You'll believe me when I have to get bailed out of jail because I gave him a kiss on the cheek."
right.
And she's like, "Why would you do that?" I was like, "For proof."
When a picture just doesn't cut it.
Yeah, yeah. But the headline will. But obviously, I follow you on socials, and I saw all the places you went. You played, part of this, and we'll talk more about this throughout this, is the CSRA, our area. That's what they call it. What is it? The Central Savannah River area. Okay. I'm new to this place. Marcus has lived here his whole life. It is quickly becoming Little Pinehurst. And the only problem is there's amazing courses. They're all private,
Exclusively private.
exclusively private. Yeah.
Let's
Like
just
my buddy Mike's a caddy at Sage. That's the only way he goes. And he said everybody that he caddies for flies in and leaves. Like, he said he had a guy that he got a call, and his buddy's like, "Look, they're not letting us take off from Atlanta." And he checked the tee sheet and said, "You guys got plenty of time." So he's like, "All right, we'll be right back." Him and his buddies got in the car, went to the airport, flew to the Atlanta airport, picked the guy up, flew back, came back to play golf.
It's kind of like Rory flying to Augusta and then he's home for dinner, right?
Yep. Yep.
I had a really cool story I want to share with you guys, just real quick. But I caddied at Champions Retreat where they did the first 2 rounds of the Augusta National Women's Amateur. I actually happen to know Darren Wu. Shout out Darren Wu from Champions Retreat. He caddied for the young lady that won the tournament this year. And we kind of all thought it was going to be Asterix Tally.
He's a local firefighter.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And he's actually got a new company called Golf Suites where he's doing a mobile simulator. So just shout out Darren Wu. I actually had the opportunity to be with Asterix Tally at an Annika Sorenstam event last Monday. And so to meet her and see the lead that she had, I was hoping she got it done. But for Darren's sake, and obviously the young lady's life that will be changed, it was awesome. But anyway, Darren's a good friend. He caddied with me at Champions Retreat, and I just did, not Darren's a normal caddy. Like he's there all the time. I have a real job. And so I just did special events and it never even really mattered, how much somebody would tip me. And I mean that. Like it was just a pleasure to be on the golf course, with them and to try to help them, in the challenge. Yeah. So I really enjoyed caddying out at Champions. It was really good fun. What I was going to say is that I was caddying for a group and I was like trying to explain where Sage Valley was. And I was like exit 11, which would make total sense to you, John. But they had flown from Columbia down to Augusta in their private jet. And so they didn't see exit 11. They maybe seen it from the air, but there's
They're like, there's only 3 gates in the airport.
Yeah, but there is something to say about all of the golf courses that are coming here. I think if I had to put my finger on, what's really made the change, Old Barnwell, my good friend Nick Schreiber, that started Old Barnwell, is building the 2 golf courses there and then has the 15-hole short course for kids. I think him coming to our area has really opened it up to the network. Now, I've been following Zach Blair for a long time, with the Buck Club, and they wanted to build that in Utah originally. And then next thing you know, it ends up, on exit 33. So you got Tree Farm, you got Old Barnwell, which is building a couple golf courses. You have 21 Club that's building a couple of golf courses as well. An original Alistair McKenzie design. So one of the designers at Old Barnwell actually is building his own golf course, and that's going to be called New Holland. And I played with a guy from Tampa who's a member of Bel Air at 21 Club this last week, and he's bringing a golf course to South Carolina. We got Candy Root coming to South Carolina. So yeah, we are kind of becoming a mecca, which is awesome. But again, something that I always consider is, what about the average everyday Joe? How are they going to have the opportunity to play these golf courses? I will say just being in our area is a big advantage. I know Kevin Kisner personally, and Kisner's doing an event at Tree Farm. It was $1,000 to play Masters Week, right? Cool. We can sign up for this event that's going to be coming up in a few weeks, $200 to play, and that includes everything. So it's pretty nice to have these in our backyard. I'm thrilled about the patch. I'm thrilled about the loop. I can't wait to play the golf course with you, John.
Yeah, we're playing on 420. Yeah, I'm excited because and you were like, DM me. I was like, I'm texting.
And you text me first too, so you definitely got it. Because
I texted him today. Am I in? Yep.
It's a pretty popular tee time. So I had about 20 guys text me, but I'm an equal opportunity employer, so I just took the first 3 that text me. DM me, text me, whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, it's funny, when I went to Augusta a couple years ago, my mom was like, "Are you playing golf there?" I'm like, "Where?" There's no for me to play, and it's Masters Week, so even if there was, I'd never get on.
Yeah, well, there's also like Westlake is like 23 or $2,500.
Sage Valley $4,000, Augusta Country Club's $4,000, Champions 4,250. So they actually, Lou, you could have got on. They're public. Anybody can get on, but the prices are outrageous.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get on a credit card.
I was going to say, it costs more for round the golf than the whole trip with round trip airfare and my stay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I spent that money in the pro shop though, so it was all good.
Yeah, same. Yeah, like someone said to me, "Why do you have a Masters beach towel?" I said, "Because I don't know if I'm ever going to get on this place again. I'm buying everything."
Why not?
That's not true, John. We're going to get you out there next year.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, as they say.
I had an epiphany this year. I've been going to the tournament since I was 1997. I'll show just briefly a cool story of me going in 1997. Tiger Woods would never play in the par 3 contest, but the first year that he won, he played in the par 3 contest with Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Gary Player. Usually it's just 3 people. They do threesomes on the par 3 contest, speed up play and things like that. But they wanted to play with Tiger. And as a 9-year-old, walking into the golf course, walked down to the par 3 contest, and that is the first 4 golfers that I ever seen on the golf course. Wow. I didn't realize how impactful that moment would be for me, but it's pretty cool. I mean, I got chills right now just thinking about it.
Yeah. The first time I ever stepped on a golf course was at TPC Sawgrass for the players, and we walked in. I believe it's over by 15, where we came in. 15 tee boxes here, and then you just come in this way. I come in. Tiger and Ernie Els are walking this way, and I was like, and the first thing I said was, Ernie Els is a lot taller in person. Like,
And Tiger's jacked. I don't know what year it was,
yeah,
but Tiger is
yeah,
a specimen.
yeah, yeah. So it's really cool just to see them in person. But on the side of everybody again saw the Masters, they watched. You have something in common with Shane Lowry, but he did his on a par 3. Silly. Tell us about yours.
So I had the opportunity the Saturday before Masters. My good buddy Justin Whelan, who has Oak Film Company out of Aiken, South Carolina. He does a lot of really cool work. By the way, also a golfing buddy. And sometimes he just casually mentions like some of the people that he's going to be working with. So we were playing golf the other day, not this Saturday, but a few years ago. And he just casually mentions, hey, I'm shooting with Tiger and Charlie tomorrow in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what do you do, man? Like, it's just so crazy. But ties into this story well because Justin invited me out and we played with Connor T. Lewis and Walker Posey. It was my first time seeing the golf course, heard a lot about it. Again, as I mentioned, it's Alistair McKenzie design. They originally designed the course for Argentina called El Bacaran, and the architects have done their best job to take those original renderings from the 30s and then put this in Jackson, South Carolina, right next to our racetrack, which is very interesting. The first Saturday I was out there, I don't think they were racing because we didn't hear anything. There was less than 20 people on property. And, the Saturday that we played Masters Week, we did hear the racetrack, which was really interesting. You're at this private exclusive club and you got this racetrack right next door. But I did have a really cool opportunity. The first time that I played the number 2 and 16th green, because 21 Club, all of their greens are double greens. So that on some greens, they have 2 or 3 pins. And it's just very interesting. You kind of decide on the tee box which pin you're playing to. And it's kind of a match play golf course. So we knew which pin I was playing to. Caddy looks at me, he says, we have 258 yards to the flagstick. And, that's about what I hit my driver, 260, 270. And so I'm thinking driver. But then it's a little downwind. And I was like, man, if I just really catch it, short's not going to hurt you. These green complexes are crazy. So the ball hits right before the green, rolls up this whole big slope. It's coming down pretty hot and goes right in the cup. Hole in one on a par 4. Something that I've never achieved. I had a hole in one last year at Westlake Country Club, 160 yards. A couple of years ago, me and my dad were having a conversation and we were just talking about, would you rather have a hole in one or would you rather have an albatross? And he said, oh, I'd definitely rather have an albatross. That's way, uncommon, way more uncommon. And I just said, I've actually been close to a hole in one. I'd rather have a hole in one. Well, the very next week, I had a albatross from 239 yards on a par 5 at Belmead Country Club, number 7. So the only thing left I really needed to do in golf was to have a hole in one on a par 4. I didn't think it would come so soon. I never expected it. So hole in one, they've got a really cool TP at 21 Club that they put up for Masters Week. They've got the claret jug there. So 5 minutes later, we're drinking out of the claret jug. So all 20 people on property, they come out. Justin sends out a text to the member base. $500,000 to join this club, by the way. So these are some pretty exclusive people. And they know who Marcus Maddox is now, which is insane, but I just feel so
where your plaque is.
Yeah,
where's my
exactly.
plaque?
We were talking about the plaque and, who knows what they're actually going to do for me. I talked to the owner of the golf course who's pretty well off. And he said, we want you to come into the pro shop. We want to get you some stuff. And I said, no, it's okay. I will be out here again. And I just want you to think about what you want to do for me.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to come of that? I'm not going to hold my breath, but I did have the opportunity to play the golf course again and hit 3-wood again, different pin placement, but kind of in the same little ridge. The ball goes up, kind of takes the same line, but goes a little further. The greens were a little faster. They're running 12.5, which that was fun. And the ball just trickled back down the slope, and all the guys were looking at me because it wasn't exactly the same group. They're just like, "You're not going to do this again, are you?" And it rolled past the pin to 5 inches. By the way, we're playing a match. I birdied the hole previously. Wasn't playing all that well, but birdied the hole previously, eagled that hole, and birdied the next two to win the match by one. And I'm like, what in the world? What in the world? Like Masters Week in Augusta, I felt like I should be watching golf, but I'm playing golf. I felt like I missed the first 3 days of the Masters. I was able to watch Sunday, which that's the first time I've ever done that. But getting the opportunity to play golf, I've always asked people like, would you rather play golf? Would you rather watch the Masters? My answer is always watch the Masters. This year I decided to play golf. It was fun. Got to meet some really cool people and almost had my third albatross. Just to put this in perspective, because I was interested to know for my sake. One albatross is 6 million to 1 odds. To have two in a lifetime is 1 trillion to 1, 1 trillion to 30 to 1. Insane. So if I never make a good golf shot in the rest of my life, like I feel like I've completed the game, right? It's time to quit. Hang it up.
Play the lottery. Go play the lottery, man. Because luck is on your side.
Have you played Todd Hill Farm?
I've not. I was supposed to play in an event out there. The organization that I was a part of, we did have an event there. And I've never played Tobacco Road either. I hate to sound like this, but growing up, I didn't play golf, So some of the opportunities of the places I've got to play, I just feel so blessed. Playing all the Stream Song golf courses, all 3 of those in the top 100. And like, I don't know. My bucket list right now is extremely short. I mean, it just is. And I just feel so privileged to play so many awesome places. Tell me about Todd Hill Farm.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a Strands course. The day before we played Mid-South, and it was dumping. Like we're just getting drenched. And the one of the guys out there said, "Oh, you guys are playing Todd Hill? It's the worst golf course on the planet to be cart path only." And of course it was cart path only. But the course is phenomenal. Undulation everywhere, false fronts everywhere. You're hitting from an elevated tee box to an elevated green where if you're short at all, you're rolling back 50 yards. But one of the guys in our group, he was in the group behind us. So, I had a great shot, missed my approach just off to the side on number 16. And we're playing a Ryder Cup style match. And, I'm short of the green, chip up, putt, birdie, great. The group right behind us got an albatross.
Wow.
And
let's go.
Yeah, and obviously you hear the eruption. And we're all like,
did he just say that? Yeah.
And someone's like, he just got an albatross. And we're like, that's awesome. But Todd Hill gave him a scroll of a rendering of the hole. And I was like, man, that's really cool. And like, they don't have to do anything. You paid to play, but the fact that of course, especially with the clout that they have, because they're known, does stuff like that for the people, really, I think is really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, nobody else for the existence of the golf course is going to be able to say that they made the first albatross at 21 Club. And that's just quite an accomplishment. I feel like I've never accomplished anything like that in my life. It was awesome. I didn't ask the owner if I could take this cup, but he did sign it for me. So I guess it was okay.
Yeah.
The caddy's name.
I love that logo too. So cool.
All 20 people that were on property. I guess we should just say 21 people were on property, but all 21 people that were on property, they were able to sign this cup. So I was able to commemorate it. We got the ball right here.
Nice.
It says hole in one. I used actually one of my dad's golf balls.
Cool.
I got him some Pro V ones for Christmas, and we had a little bet to see, who could make their Pro V ones last the longest, which I feel like would be good because I play a little bit more golf than my dad, but he has a tendency to lose more golf balls. So it was a good contest, but hitting a Titleist 68 in the hole with his birth year was pretty neat.
Well, and Dad, you win. He's never going to lose it.
That's right.
That one's there forever.
That's right.
So obviously I know, and I've seen you rubbed elbows with some pretty big names as far as influencers and just celebrity. Like people know. I know you were at the Malbon house. I was there, but I probably went way too early, and I wasn't going to sit there that long, but and it was cold.
Next year you're going to go with me, and I'm going to introduce you to a lot of these people.
Hey, I'm all
Let's do
in.
it.
I'm all in.
But yeah, got to
But
meet.
I saw a picture of you on your story with a guy who's notorious for wearing tank tops. And like when Lee Corso left College Game Day, I was like just obviously with his health and stuff, I was like, this show is toast. Like, no offense to Curb Street and Desmond Howard and the other guy,
Reese
whatever his
Davis.
name is. Who?
Reese Davis.
Reese Davis. No offense to them, but like they know their stuff. It's just there's no fun, and Nick Saban doesn't have the reputation for being overly fun,
Straight
So
face.
yeah, yeah. And then when this guy comes along, I was like, oh, now we can watch again because he just makes it fun. So tell us about the mustache you can't forget.
Yeah, he called it a big, beautiful mustache. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, I got to meet Pat McAfee at T-Bones there on Washington Road. It's a hot spot. You never know who you're going to meet. Last year, I had the opportunity to have dinner, just me and him, with Kessler Corain, Patrick Reed's caddy. I went to school with Patrick, so big fan there. I just texted him after the Masters. We weren't planning to get together this year, but I just texted him one word, T-Bones. And he said, dude, I'm on the way. So we hung out at T-Bone's last night till 3 a.m. Pat McAfee was there when I first got there. And crazy story, we were actually breaking up a fight at T-Bone's. And that's rare. I've never seen a fight at T-Bone's. But anyway.
T-Bones is a restaurant, by the way.
It's a restaurant. They got a little bar in there. But me and the owner's son was just kind of catching up, talking. And next thing you know, there's this huge Irishman about to take on this, teenage American boy, and they're about to go, man. So I grab the little teenage American boy and I, kind of take him outside. They're trying, like 6 guys are trying to hold back this Irishman that's, very inebriated and very happy that Rory won, and he's going to show his tail. So both of the guys got kicked out of the restaurant, but Pat McAfee loved it. He loved it. So earlier today on ESPN, he gave us a little shout out. Obviously, it was awesome to meet him. A lot of respect for him, and he had a great time in Augusta. He was receiving a little bit of flack for being able to do his podcast or TV show at Augusta, because that's something he wants to do. But after attending Augusta, he told me, he just said, I understand why they would not want me to do my show at Augusta. It makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a
There's a certain etiquette level that they want to keep there.
Correct.
So how do you feel about like the Kevin Hart, Jason Kelsey, whoever?
What about
like being able to play in the par 3 or hit a shot in the par 3? How do you feel about that? Like everyone's complaining about the celebrity. It's, there's a level of it's just so uptight, like because it's Augusta National. But what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's awesome. Through the years, I've felt a lot of inspiration from the par 3 contest. I think they're very inclusive of family. I had the opportunity to see another hole-in-one by Tommy Fleetwood this year. Rory McIlroy, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, all standing on the tee, all with their family. First hole, announce their names. Tommy tees it up. Rory hit first, Shane hit second, and then Tommy kind of takes a different line, and that thing zips back and goes right in the hole. And everybody goes crazy. And I'm like, this is crazy because I'm going to be on TV. And you can see me just like right there.
Yeah, you're right there.
Just leave high-fiving everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's awesome that the players will, bring their wives, bring their family. You see kids rolling around in the grass at Augusta National. They're in the sand traps, like playing with sand. They don't care anything about the golf. They're just living their best life. I think it's awesome exposure for the game to get people like Kevin Hart, Travis Kelsey there. Golf is for everyone, Everybody's not going to play golf, but I feel like we need to be inclusive to bring more people into the sport. And that's what we're going to try to do through the Par 3 tour. But I really think it was awesome to have, a lot of celebrities come in town and maybe not even be a golfer, but to attend the event and just like understand it's the most prestigious golf tournament in the world. It means a lot to the golfer, but also it just means a lot just being there. It's just awesome to be there. And you talked a little bit before the show, Lou, of how your experience the first time in Augusta. My mom lived in Augusta for 40 years before she went to the Masters for the first time. And when I had the opportunity to bring her, she just said, I feel like we're walking into Disney World. Like, this is cool, you know? And she's not even a fan of golf. And I think that's one of the things that makes Augusta National so special.
My brother-in-law, he looks like Puerto Rican Jesus. He's got the scruffy, kind of patchy beard, long hair. He's very brown, not golf. Like, it's just not his thing. He wants to start playing. He actually has a brand new set of Hama irons. They're Tiffany ferrules, which obviously I was able to get for him, get the build for him. Like, they're a $1,200 set of irons, and I got them for him for like $600. So I was like, you want these? He's like, yes. And I was like, have you hit them yet? He said, no. They're 3 years old. And now I have the simulator right here. So I was like, you just need to come over with your irons and let's start getting you into the game. And, but he has a family friend who their family has the lifetime tickets. So he goes with his friend and he's like, John, I can't bring my phone, but I'm going to call you. I know you don't answer numbers you don't know. Whatever 706 number comes up, just answer it. I was like, okay. And I know they have the hospital.
Going. Hey, I know where this is going.
They have the hospitality phones, whatever. So he calls and I was like, hey, Anthony. And I'm like, why are you whispering? You're at the hospitality phones. And he's like, I've lived here for 15 years. No offense to Augusta. Parts of this area are not very nice. You would never know this museum is on the other side of that wall. He's like, this place is immaculate. There's not a blade of grass. And I said, Anthony, your voice sounds a little different right now. He's like, I don't even know how to describe it. I said, you sound like a fan, Anthony. And I was like, that's called appreciation. And that's what Lou said. Like, you walk in and if you love the game, whether you're good at it or not, everybody has that moment. Everybody's first time, they say the same thing. You'll never understand until it's your first time. And it's beautiful to read it. It's the same story, a different chapter every single time, but it's beautiful every single time. Like, it's just great even if you're reading their post, like my buddy Rob, he had a picture of an Augusta National hat, but he's a very funny guy. Like, but there was nothing funny about his post. It was just lovely. Like, everybody, the way they talk about Augusta National, if you play the game, it's just great. Like, and like I said, I have an Augusta National towel, beach towel. Like, my daughter's like, I want to go out and lay out with mommy. I said, I got something. Hold on. Unzipped it, took it out. I was like, this is the perfect day for it. It was yesterday. So I laid it out on the grass for her. 3 minutes later, she's like, I'm bored.
Boy, it's the softest towel to golfers.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is the best towel.
Yeah.
And what do people even do with their gnomes? I don't know. It's a hot commodity.
Mine's sitting in the box.
Exactly.
Mine's in the box. Yeah. It's in the house in the box.
I have mine on the fireplace and I don't have the collection and I never even really wanted one, but I ended up with one and I was like, maybe it's a thing, but I had an epiphany this year and I told you guys this, but just for the viewers out there, I've never bought anything from Augusta National and regretted it. I bought a polo 20 years ago. And I try to buy a shirt every single year. So I've got quite the collection, having the opportunity to go to the tournament. And I bought a polo for $60. Look, they went up a little since then. I sold that for $50 last year. So I wore that polo for 10 years or 20 years. And I only paid $10 for it. So there's nothing from Augusta National that I've bought that I will ever regret. I've heard about people buying, a bag in the members pro shop for $1,000, and they don't regret that. So
yeah,
any money that you spend at Augusta is well spent. Lou,
yeah.
you ran it up, right?
To have the foresight to not have their gear readily available anywhere. Like, you have to buy it there. You can't get it online. You can't get, was pretty ingenious. Like most of what they do is, it's probably no offense to the people that love Disney, and John, you know how I feel about that, but it might be the most well-oiled business machine maybe in the world, because they've got it down to a science. I mean, it is, even in the food bay, like you got thousands of people wanting those food bays, and it's clean.
Well, and you
It's
never
so
see
everything's
people. You never
organized.
see that cart roll through like you do at Disney.
Oh, the food just like magically appears back on the thing. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's because it comes
wait a
from
minute. There was no cookies 2 seconds ago, and now I can have all the cookies I want. You know what I
There's
mean? Like,
no cookies, and you saw no golf cart or no
nope,
car
nope.
taking the cookies to the shop. And you know why that is because they're taking it underground,
Yeah.
under the ground.
Yeah.
I don't want to share too much about Augusta National. I have some good friends that are pretty high up over there. I know some employees, but their business plan, they're 30 years ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, and
they got it going on.
obviously, Marcus, I've shared some of designs and stuff of what Lou and I are doing and coming out with. And this year, Augusta National is way more design heavy than they have been in the past. So my buddy Mike, who's the caddy at Sage, he is like, John, I'm going on Sunday. Do you want anything? I said, I don't know if you know what you just did. That was my response. And he said, whatever you want, let me know. And he sent me a picture of my receipt. And I said, that is the saddest thing I've ever seen because everything I wanted was sold out the day before.
No.
The only thing I got was the t-shirt with the gnome on the back, the 2026, and the little 2026 miniature putter. I wanted the M hats in every color with the azaleas on it, sold out. He wanted the hat that came out this year that's like the tan with like the patch and the Masters Augusta National. Yeah, sold out. We both wanted the pink Masters Tech polo with the azaleas everywhere, sold out. I wanted the gnome polo. I didn't know it came in other colors. He said they didn't have it in green. So he bought it in blue. I said, you could have made the decision. He's like,
John loves blue. Everybody knows John
he
loves
said,
blue.
he's like, but I wasn't going to make the choice. You didn't. I was like, no, it's fine.
Just
But
just make it. And honestly, if you get something and you don't like it, I'm not advocating for marking things up, but you could absolutely sell it for what you paid for it.
And I would absolutely
Or
sell it
double.
for what I paid for it
Or double.
because I'm not really into I understand why people do it. I don't have to like it, but I understand why people do it. I think, especially when you're buying stuff for your friends and your family and all that, there are generations of golfers who will never step on that property. And if I had to have a chance, I spent $3,700 when I went last year.
Easy to do.
It wasn't all for me. And, there were things that I left because when Veronica got there, she was not letting me just peruse and look for something else, but like there's not a dollar spent there that you're going to regret. It's
I got
an amazing
my chairs
place.
are right here next to me. Bought 2 chairs.
Yeah.
Never going to use them, but end
Yeah.
up with a simulator, and here they are, right here. People sit in them all the time.
Yep.
Because
Well, that's where I was checking my notes. There's one thing I want to talk about. Augusta after the Masters. Like it feels like, especially when you live here and you see it, all the houses are like getting all the everything's getting pretty. Like, this is getting fixed, that is getting done, they're redoing this. But afterwards, like there is a golf community here. And I'll be honest, like as far as golf shops, it is pretty sad. Like the fact that there's not like a Golf Galaxy, a PGA Superstore, we have Edwin Watts, Bonaventure. Bonaventure's its own thing. It's like its own like cult following. But I met our buddy Zach owns Augusta Golf Collective, and like Lou, you'll love this. So like this is his shirt. Chubbs. Amazing. Lou, actually what you'll love the most is Veronica never owned a product from that other place. She owns something from Zach. This is one he sent us. I absolutely love his logo. This logo he has.
Yes, that's the logo that he's got coming out this year. So they put that on all the polos. We're looking to get him in some more golf courses, by the way. So if there's any golf course owners that are listening to this, love to get you in there.
But he gave us these. He has a wooden patch. My wife has already claimed this. And dad hats, but he's got a lot of really cool things. He's, in his words, people think that maybe it's a ripoff of Augusta National. It is 100% his own stuff. Augusta Golf Collective, Marcus, this. The country club stripes are not my thing. It is yours, Zach's, and Craig's. Craig owns Peach Jack Golf Company. He didn't have it in my size, but he has a T-shirt and it says Augusta parking lot, and it is all the private planes at the airport. It is hilarious. Like,
Love it.
he has a lot of great products too. I bought these at your event.
Thank you.
Tips and Yips. This is probably the most comfortable hat I've ever worn.
Nice.
It actually, that hat is why we're going to have hats like that. And then this one is a sign that you see here. It says golf traffic. It is a sign because it's during the tournament. It's everywhere. Like, go this way. Everyone golf wise, go this way. But some really cool guys doing a lot of great things. I've talked to both of them about collabing with us when we get our merch and stuff out there. I actually said I would love to put some design on your stripes, but I'm really interested to see what we can do in this area. And because we're not against each other,
Oh no, we're not. We're working together.
working together.
And you mentioned the traditional stripes. Maybe that is why I'm kind of a traditional stripes guy, is getting a shirt at the Masters every year. This is something that I do. I don't know that I'd recommend it for everybody, but what I do is, by the way, next year you got to send me your list. I always go on Monday. And so if you can go on Monday or Saturday to the ANWA, which I usually attend as well, getting merchandise is a lot easier.
But yeah.
Send me your list next year and we'll make sure that we fulfill all of that.
Well, I don't know the list yet because until people start throwing it up on, Marketplace and stuff.
That's right. So either Monday or Tuesday, you can usually get some stuff. I'm not promising you a gnome because you got to be there 10 minutes. The first year that for the second year that they did these gnomes, older lady literally got her hip broken. It's kind of like Black Friday on steroids.
Oh, yeah.
for golfers.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yep.
insane.
Yeah, I went last year.
But what I was going to say about the traditional country club stripes, I just go up to the counter and I say, "Hey, I want a polo. Why don't you just pick me out a polo?" And and if they maybe pick something that is a little too loud for me, I'm like, I don't think I'm that cool, whatever. And then they'll pick me another one. But I just usually let the girls that are there pick me a nice polo. Shout out to Annika, was the girl's name. I've been able to make a relationship with her because she works in the shop every single year and she sees that I'm a repeat customer. So shout out to Annika for picking me out some really cool merch this year.
Yeah, Marcus, before you jump off with the par 3 tour, before you get off, obviously tell everybody what your socials are, and we'll, at the end of the podcast, we like to link our guest info and stuff like that. But if you want to give that a shout out, but what's coming up next for you? Like any big events in the immediate future, or where does par 3 tour go now that this big event that is kind of the sun, right, in Augusta? I mean, this is your guys' life down there, right? Like, everything revolves around this event is over. So now what?
Yeah, so I think there's going to be more that comes from this event. Obviously, it's going to be huge Masters Week. I've got a good buddy, Chad Mum, who runs Pro Shop. He's executive producer for Happy Gilmore 2. He has the rights to film all the PGA Tour events, the secondary rights, scratch, just on down the line. Super awesome guy. Had us to his party in Augusta. I think we would love to get more content creators, celebrities, influencers to the event. I think it's made for that. So we'll obviously be trending towards that event next year. We may run some this year as well. But the main thing is the Par 3 Tour. And what I realized with the Par 3 Tour is we've got to have the technology to take this worldwide. This is not just for our area. I built a golf tour in Augusta. We had 150 members. It was awesome. I felt like we built it for the better golfers in town. The Par 3 Tour is literally for golfers and some non-golfers. We want spectators to come out. We want families to come out. We want it to be inclusive. We want it to be fun. We want it to be fast. We want it to be social. So we're going to continue to run some pilot events at some local CSRA golf courses, and we're just going to see what the future holds.
Awesome.
Just sneak peek, real good conversations with Kessler Corain last night, Patrick Reed's caddy, and he's fired up about it. He was like, "Man, we got to bring this thing to Texas." And so we'd love to bring it to Texas, but we don't want it just in the United States. We want to be international. It's a big vision. It's going to take a lot to get there, but I haven't had anybody really tell me like, "Oh, that's a terrible idea." Like, it's going to work. So we're really excited about it. Hey guys, thank you all so much for your time. Big fan of the podcast, and our socials is at Play the Par 3 Tour. You can find that on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So keep up with us. I think it's hilarious that I tell people it's the best golf tour that you never heard about because we're not doing much yet. but we intend to change that very soon. And we want you guys to be a part of it because
Yeah,
again,
we'd love to be part of
we
it.
are partners, John.
Yeah.
And shout out to John. You know, Lou, you're a new introduction to me, but I heard a lot about you, about your reputation. But John's one of the coolest golfers that I know. He is swagged out, bro. He's swagged out on the golf course. And you know, something that I love, because I feel like we can be partners. I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, and John's a
Oh
very
boy.
Florida Gator fan. So
Oh
there's a
boy.
lot of beef right there. But I think that says a lot about me and John. I spent 3 days with Coach Urban Meyer and never mentioned that I was a Bulldog fan, but there's a lot of respect there. So I say I have a lot of respect for John, all of his swag and gear, and we got to make the par three cooler. You know what I mean?
Hey, I got you.
We
I
got.
got you. I got you.
John's a hell of a dad too. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that goes for all of our, wants, desires, and swag. And so John and I became best friends, so to speak, over elephant print and Nikes, right? So I know his swag, and his tattoos are fantastic, but I get to see a different side of John that a lot of people don't. And the way he's raising his kids is phenomenal. So
It is
proud to
phenomenal.
have him as my friend, and obviously my business partner. He's great, great dude.
100%. And John actually invited me to watch the Super Bowl at his house. So I was able to go over there, spend some time with him. The Patriots, they disappointed us, but we had a great night,
Yeah. Good
we were
time.
able to kind of network there and get some connections going. So happy to help you guys any way that I can. Just really appreciate the time.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for
We
coming on.
appreciate you
Appreciate
coming
it.
on. The unelected mayor of Augusta, Evans, CSRA Golf. We will have another episode with Marcus and some other golf business owners. We're probably going to do kind of a, what do they call that?
Augusta panel.
Panel. Yeah. Where we have, just, what's great about golf. And it's like, I'm all swagged out, their country club. And, that's fine. There's a place for all of us, it doesn't have to be us versus them. It's us together trying to do the same thing. There's no reason. Like, I'm not hating on their stripes. Their stripes, Tiger's got stripes,
Yeah.
Elephant's got stripes. They just call it print, but whatever. You know, we love it. I love watching the stuff you do. I'm always envious because the guys everywhere. If Thursday you're in Hilton Head, I'll be there. So, let me
That's
know.
really cool. And I love Hilton Head. I probably won't be in Hilton Head because today I got invited to play the Ocean Course for the first time on Wednesday.
Ooh,
So how do you turn that down?
you
Can't.
don't. You don't.
Well, cool
All
guys.
right.
I'm gonna
All right,
run.
man.
Lee, good to see you. John, always good to see you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll see you in a
Thanks,
week.
man.
All right.
Great guy. Great dude.
As like if you follow Marcus and Par 3 Tour, the guy had an unbelievable week. The people he was with, hanging out with, hopefully big things for the Par 3 Tour, more big things from the CSR, the Central Savannah River area. But mostly, guys, golf is for all of us. Like Lou says, it's the great unifier. With our collaborations we have coming up with some other brands, these are brands you never would have thought we'd be working with. And now, I'll speak for you, Lou. We are so happy that they even gave us the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right now we're in the purgatory stage of this thing where we're just waiting on samples and stuff, but we've gotten a lot of exciting things the last couple of days. So some really cool stuff coming, and we're excited to get every day closer to this goal. So
Yeah. I just want to share, John and I had a lot of fun last week messing around on the simulators. We played the par 3 course. I liken the par 3 course to spring training for baseball, right? Parents and kids are just laying out in the outfield, and like he said, the kids are playing in the sand. And actually it's crystal, right? Quartz or something like that. It's not even real sand.
yeah,
Mined
it's
in
ground up quartz that they have brought in
from like somewhere in the Carolinas, right?
Carolinas. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for all the people that say, oh, it's Augusta, it's all, top shirt buttoned and,
And it is
CEOs and billionaires. Yeah, there's etiquette that you have to follow. Like, this doesn't fly. I'd have to walk around like this. You don't do the backwards hat thing. It's so nice to see that, kind of unravel's not the right word, but just unwrapped a little bit, and the pressure of this huge tournament, can go away for an hour or two, and they're out there just laughing and having fun and showing their human side of it, that they're humans too. And it's one of the things I was talking about being able to witness that practice round in Augusta was, watching the Rorys and the Tigers and the Fred Couples and the Tom Kims and the Tommy Fleetwoods and Justin or Jordan Spieths, Victor Hovland, Patrick Reed. They were all people I got, pretty close in proximity to and could hear them working with their caddies, and they're just regular people. And I think we lose sight of that, because they're just people on TV. You lose sight of that. Some are shorter than you think, some are taller than you think. Tiger is absolutely ripped, but he's not as tall as I thought he was. It's just cool seeing it in person, but seeing it at such a historic place. Like when you think of golf, you think of St. Andrews, right? You think of obviously, Augusta National, Pebble Beach. There's just certain courses that you think about when you talk about golf and you think about golf. Um, Obviously Bethpage Black has a public course, right? Is one that comes to mind too. And our buddy Jimmy, that's his backyard. And he actually worked the Ryder Cup, which is really cool. But there's just certain places you
18
think of, and
Ryder Cup.
you call them cathedrals, right? Yankee Stadium is the cathedral of baseball. Fenway Park, Wrigley Field. To be there and to see those things there, it leaves you kind of speechless. The azaleas in bloom, they're just beautiful. Like I have a lot of azaleas on my property because I actually want to make in our front yard where the woods back up, because as John likes everybody to know, I live where no one lives. And I don't have Georgia pines. I've got northern pines, northern white pines. But we have a spot between where the grass stops and the woods kind of start, and it's kind of barren. And I said to my wife Christina, I said, I imagine it's like Amen Corner, which is different color azaleas, and we're gonna start actually that this year. We're gonna see how it goes. But it changes your life. It lowers your bank account because, like we said, you're in there grabbing, and it really is like Black Friday used to be at Best Buy. There's people jumping over people. But there was 4 of us. We got split up in like, I don't know, 3 seconds.
Yeah, and that's the problem though. You can't find each other. You have to have a plan.
Yeah, you really do. And if you don't get in right away, like we got in right away. I went back in. We shipped our stuff. We somehow got split up outside of it. I went back in to find Christina, and then there was a line that went through like a building, which I didn't have to do before. I walked right through the front door the first time. I had to wait to get in.
Same.
And
Yeah,
then
that's the North Gate. The North
yeah,
Gate,
and then
you
you
go
think you're
through a
done.
building.
You think you're done, and then hey, here's the gotcha. There's more shelves at the checkout center.
Yeah.
There's more stuff that you haven't seen before.
Yep. It's not anywhere else but right there.
Right there. I need that mini putter. I need that keychain.
Yep.
I need that koozie.
Like that's where like the flags are, the mini flags, the just all the like the knickknack stuff, like the lanyards, like all the stuff.
All the stuff.
All the stuff.
And then you hit it again. So yeah, it really is a great thing. I tell everybody at work, I tell all my people, get in the lottery, get in the lottery, get in the lottery.
Absolutely.
Apply for the practice. I don't want to go to practice. Yes, you do. It really is.
Yeah, I love that. People are like, oh, I don't want to go to the ANWA. Stop it.
Go walk that course.
So first, when we went last year, it's not about watching the players. You can see the players on TV. It is about the course. It is 100% about the course, the history, the environment.
Yep. Standing under those historic scoreboards.
Yeah, the scoreboards, the trees that have been there since the property was a tree farm. It is literally about the property.
The day after we went, it was Tuesday. You guys had a bad storm, and we had left Tuesday morning, but you guys ended up with a bad storm and a tree fell over. Big tree. No one got hurt. That tree was gone in 13 seconds. And the next day when they showed where the tree was, you would have never known there was a tree there.
You would never have known there was a tree there.
It's unbelievable. Like he said, they're 30 years in it. They really are. I mean, so kudos to everybody that works there, everybody that volunteers. And it was really nice of Rory to kind of point that out in his speech about the people that actually volunteer, but also the paid staff and what they do. So it really is this little golf mecca in the middle of a town, like it's just a regular town.
Literally, yeah. It's just, I mean, Augusta is the second largest city in Georgia, but you wouldn't even know it's there.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't know it's there.
Yeah, it's like a regular town. Driving in, like there's restaurants and your chain restaurants and your hotels and whatever. You have the base, right? So you have the military there, and T-Bones that he mentioned. We had a great time at T-Bones. There was bands outside. There was a car show. There was great food. We obviously got to experience the Hooters thing, right? Hooters isn't there anymore, but John Daly's RV's there, and he's got his whole people that flock to see him. You can't get in there. Well, now you definitely can't get in there. But you're right. There's no just like one of the golf shops. They don't exist anymore. You can't just go into I think you guys have what, like a Dick's Sporting Goods, which is like the major hub of golf.
There's a Dick's, Edwin Watts, and Bonaventure. Yeah, Bonaventure's a warehouse. It's a used club place, but they have, like, from what I understand, upstairs they have like golf magazines.
Mm-hmm.
from decades ago.
That's amazing.
Like, it's actually, if you go on Zach's website, the Augusta Golf Collective, he has a shirt and it's got a picture of Bonaventure. And it has a cult following. Like, there's people that live here, they won't go anywhere else to get their clubs.
Yeah, they say the Augusta thrift store, right? That gets stuff too. Like that's a big hot spot
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes sense, right? With the transient crowds that are coming through for that week or the week before, right? What do they start about 3 weeks before the tournament? You start seeing more people coming in.
Well, the airport does, because a lot of the players fly in to play and practice and then they leave. But like Rory was saying, like, it was really nice to fly in, practice, and then be home for dinner. You know, they're living a different life.
Yeah,
But
of course.
but um, and then there's some people that are from here or live here. I have the opportunity to play Champions on May 4th in a scramble event, which my buddy Mike, his friend, paid for the entire thing and said, "Hey, get 4 guys and have a good time." And I said, "Okay." He said, "You want to play?" I said, "How much is it going to cost me?" He said, "My buddy paid for it." I said, kiss him on the cheek for me." Yes, I want to play.
I'm playing.
Yeah, and Zach, I think Zach's a member out there. Zach was gracious enough, and he said, "Whenever you want to play, man, let me know." And I said, "I don't think it's the right financial decision for me right now, but I will take you up on that." But again, it's just great people in this area, and there's a lot of people who love golf. And Zach has this league, and they have a great time. There's like 100 people in it, and I'm going to join that next year. Again, like, it's just this area isn't just the National, which, don't call it Augusta National here,
Yeah, you
because
guys know where you live.
we know where it is.
We know where it is.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, my apologies." But the National is there. Augusta Country Club is there. They share a fence. There's the River Champions. Like, there's amazing Westlake. There's amazing clubs here, but they're private.
Yeah,
And then there's Bartram Trail, which was like top 5 hidden gems in the state of Georgia. That's 2 minutes from me. It's an amazing course, but it's public.
yeah.
You know, we don't have any other, like, there's that Jones Creek just opened up. I don't even know if it's completely opened. I don't know if all 18 are open. And then the Patch just reopened. So, like, the courses for the common player just don't exist here. And it's unfortunate, but the
Well, that's where the
area,
par three tour comes in, right? I mean, that's where
yeah,
that and
yeah,
it's family friendly. And so what I started to say was, we did the par three course, and then we played twice. We played the main course. One time we were idiots and played from the pro tees. But afterwards, John, you had gotten off, and my son is 4, and he swings cross handed, and he just got a kick out of playing this course that we watch on TV, and we watched earlier that day on TV because I showed it out here with the projector. I had the projector.
yeah,
I put it out here. I was watching it, and I can't take him to a course, right? We're limited to a driving range. But if something like that, where it's a 50-yard shot, I mean, the kid can hit it 50 yards. I mean, I think that's really neat, and I think there's definitely a place in the game for it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And, like, I just bought Amelia her first set of clubs. I'm excited she keeps saying, "I get to hit real golf balls," because she's been hitting the little foam ones. So, we'll set up the Rapsodo, and soon she'll hit balls on that. And, we'll just let her beat it around and have a good time.
what one of the things I love about golf, and as I'm sitting here, kind of looking at I have league tomorrow, so I'm getting my stuff ready. Is it talking about you and having swag and stuff? Is baseball was always baseball cards, right? Little figurines, baseball cards, hats, maybe. But the golf equipment and the different designs, especially like now, people collecting head covers and Scotty Cameron. Obviously, they're paying thousands of dollars for head covers, but you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for stuff. There's just some really neat stuff, and you've
Well, I
shouted
mean,
them out here before.
every event, like
Yeah,
last year's, this
yeah,
tartan is phenomenal.
yeah. I mean, I'm looking around. I see a lot of pins. We've talked about them before.
Yeah.
But I've got stuff from the New York City Fire Department. Texas Strong, which the GHQ crew did a
Well, I mean, this is Pins Masters Drop.
yeah,
They're center shafted putter. Like, this is our shaft band,
but yeah, look
shaft
at that.
wrap. Like,
That's
we
us.
love elephant print, like, with our logo on it right here. Like, and
Remember when they had the flooding and the campers and
yep,
all that? So the GH
yep.
crew did sold these for like it's just cool stuff that you can. I don't know. It's so much
We
different
both
than
have this. Yep, right there.
it's so much different than our grandfather's fuzzy head covers and these
Yeah,
guys
the socks.
now.
Like,
Which, by the way, the Sox are now making a comeback.
They are.
They were getting
Not on my
popular
bag,
again.
but I know they are.
But yeah, and I just, this is just phenomenal. I mean, this might be
Yep.
my most favorite hit cover
That's on
ever.
my bag too, right over there.
I mean,
Yep.
the
It's
contrast,
beautiful.
the color, the stitching, it's just well done, and
Bro, I'm telling you, they're the
it was
blueprint.
such a great. It's staying in the. I normally switch out, based off tournaments.
Yep.
I throw the Ryder Cup in there. When we're doing, USA
Yep.
themed or 4th of July, stuff like that.
Yep.
That one might stay in there year round. I mean, that's just a beautiful item. Yeah, no, it's such a. And then I love what TaylorMade did this year. They went neutral. They went Masters colors, TaylorMade. They kept it very basic, and I was like, you know what, that's kind of refreshing.
But it looks
Not
cool.
everything has to be extreme, But yeah, no, it's just such a rewarding community and a game that can take so much away because it's incredibly hard,
Yeah.
but it gives so much more back. So it's really cool. I did want to show you something I picked up, Johnny. So our friends are, we've talked about it ad nauseum. Bourbon guys. I've always liked Johnny Walker Scotch. I was able to get this thing.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
yeah.
so cool.
It's two-sided,
But like
obviously, but
that's a little piece of history. Like,
that is a piece of history, and it's gonna be in. I gotta redo my thing here, but
but yeah, I mean, but like that's just something that like only someone else who likes Johnny Walker might have.
right, because who wants a press viewing area thing? But you know what?
Yeah.
Someone had it, and
That's literally a yard stake, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, dude. That's the stuff that's cool about it. Like,
yeah,
yeah, man.
and I love
So
these.
much more
Like
cool about
they're
this.
all the guys doing what we're trying to do. I want to support all of them because being on this
Exactly.
side of it, and not all of them have connections that we have, and the ability to do things we have. I'm just looking around. I see stuff from Take 5, and obviously our friend Keith, Bear Force One, Hangar 19 Golf, Thrifty Golf. I got pins, and
It's funny. I commented on one of
Logies,
his posts and I said, I need that. And he said, I got you. And that's when the other day, like you told me, what are you doing? Like,
giving back. I know.
and so I bought him. This is something he was going to give me, but we know what it's like being on this side of it now. This stuff costs money. And, yeah, at some point, eventually, we're all going to be given something, shout out to Zach for, throwing the hats and the t-shirts and stuff. And he gave me one of their head covers, but these things they cost real money. Like I know you feel the same way. We want to give back to those that are supporting us.
Yeah, and our friend Brent out there at on Tame Golf sent me a little care package this week. I'm excited to show that off our next show. I really was really nice of him for what he did. He didn't have to do that at all. But his stuff's really, really cool. But it's helping him get to that next step, and obviously the stuff we're doing with Luke is today was a great day, the first day back to work after spring break, and impromptu conversation that you and I had with Luke, and some of the designs that were going back and forth, like getting excited again, and
Oh yeah.
and getting into it again. There's a lot to come, and it's going to be great, and I'm really excited about it. And we always said from the get-go, if we don't make $1 but our podcast helps somebody, it's all worth it, and it's worth the failures on the one side for the successes on the other, or that one success on the other. But it's been a very rewarding journey. It's been very educational. It's been fun. There's some stuff coming that we can't talk about, but I just can't wait. I'm that excited about it. But already, John, and we've talked about this, you and I, but this podcast has helped people in my circle of circles get into golf. I'm seeing more people want to take up the game. More people want to come over and play in the simulator. My kids' friends now want to come over and do it. My son, we're at soccer all day Sunday. He's talking to the kids about golf. Now, like, I want to golf. I want to golf. I want to golf. He goes, come to my house and golf. It's like, oh, I guess everybody's coming to our house to golf. And, you saw my simulator. It's nothing special. It's a cage off Amazon and an impact screen and a projector. I mean,
Same.
it's nothing special, but you know what? The kids have a blast.
Yeah.
It's just really
Absolutely.
all the knots are starting to get tied together, man. And I'm really, really proud. And for you, man, I was talking with our buddy Jimmy the other day, and just that, how much work you've put in behind the scenes. As we're all out doing our day to day, kind of keeping our distributors in line, our suppliers in line, and keeping us in line. And, you're doing a hell of a job, buddy. We're all proud, we're both very proud of you. And I know,
I appreciate it.
yeah, man, like
Well, I mean, it
a
really
lot of
is
this
like,
isn't possible without the time and dedication you have. And, your wife's a saint for letting you do what she's letting you do. So
this stage of it really is like, when you're talking about starting a small business, which we obviously hope that grows into something, life changing for our families and our families when we're long gone, we're remembered for the mission of why we're doing this. This stage of it is very like mind numbingly slow. And once the things are coming in and where you're always setting up for the next month and the next one and the next one, then it's just going to be fine. It's just, you know, but in the very beginning, this stage of it where nothing's coming in,
Yeah.
you're waiting for samples, you're waiting on people who are in different time zones. For me, who's very impatient, it is teaching me lessons that I need to know.
And remember, everything happens for a reason. You've obviously been dealt a bad hand, last January or this past January. But to make the most of it and to take that learning experience and, everything happens for a reason. This is where you're meant to be right now. And maybe there's a reason that you're meant to be where you are right now because of what you're able to do behind the scenes that'll launch this forward. But yeah, no, it's been a great learning curve. I love playing good cop, bad cop with you too in certain conversations. That's a lot of fun. I often have to be the good cop.
Yeah, I'm
um,
often a bad cop.
yeah. Um,
No, we can't do that.
yeah.
No.
Yeah. But we're both, our small little group, we're all big dreamers. We all have similar ideas, but just our own personalities are a little bit different. And some of the stuff you see is, there's this background, this shattered concrete. I mean, it's a play off the elephant print without it being elephant print. It's ours, and it's something that between the two of us, we bashed our heads together and look what we found. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm very thankful for the time we have and all the stuff we're doing. And, it makes you feel young again, because I know you're mid 40s. I'm in the 40s now, and you go to work, you golf, you family, you soccer, you ballet, you gymnastics, and your kids are a little, mine are 10, 8, and 4. Yours are a little younger than that. You got 2 right in that gap. It's cool, man, because Daddy, can you make this? And Daddy, can you make that? And did you ask John if you can make this? And do we have a design for that? And just seeing them at the dinner table, And just before I came out here, I was running a little bit late, John. My son was sitting on me and he's singing the theme song from The Fringe, and it was like, I'm just stoked right now.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact that he was twerking when he was doing it, so him and I gotta have a little talk, but yeah, it's been fun, man. So
Yeah, and there's a lot to come, obviously, as much as we want to be able to clothe our kids, this sport is mostly male dominated. So, we need to make clothing for the masses, but women, kids, that is definitely coming.
there's not a lot of brands that do it. I really can only think of one right now off the top of my head, and it's somebody that I've bought a lot from. Actually, I may or may not be wearing one, but I just got some shirts for the girls going to Nashville.
Yeah, well, Pens, they do it. There's not many that there's there's a couple brands that their thing is like matching like father and son.
Mm-hmm.
But where's mom? You
Yeah,
know, or they do male and female. But
where's the kids?
those brands are also targeting the younger, before the kids kind of generations, like or age groups. Again, our thing is to be there for everybody, something for everybody. So it'll take us a minute to get there, but we'll get there. And once we're there, we'll
So besides playing golf, right, and swagging out our wardrobe and our drip, right, big sneakerheads. I think everybody kind of knows that. Nike, very sneaky
uh,
this year. Very
yeah, man.
sneaky. Like, oh, there's nothing coming. There's nothing coming, and then it was like, boom, they hit you with the Air Jordan 1 spikes.
April 1st.
Boom, more came,
Yep.
and it's like, ah. the I will tell you, I got a pair of the drawing a blank on what they were called, but they were the ones that were at Grove that you can only get if you remember at Grove, that
Oh
style.
yeah, the Jordans.
I got the John Key blue with the whites. Might be the most comfortable golf shoe I've ever had. And I'm not lying because I told you about the ones we both bought last year
Yeah.
being the most
Yep.
comfortable golf shoe ever.
Yeah, well, it's that platform, which was the original Tiger
Yeah.
platform.
Well,
And
these ones are the most comfortable golf shoes I've ever had.
yeah, I'm being a good boy.
I
But
know. I
but
know.
those things like they're amazing.
There is a box coming to you.
Yeah, I thought it was coming today, but
I was hoping it would. It would have been perfect for today. But so you got something to look forward to there. And then by the time this actually gets out and it airs, our buddy Big Nick, out in Cali, our friend Andrew, I'm gonna call him the Jerky Man from now on because he sends me some good ass jerky. They got a box coming to them, and I got a whole box of stuff for our buddy Luke that I got to get out at some point too. So just this
and
whole
we have
network
some
we have
other
is
stuff coming out Saturday. Actually, we got a big day Saturday. I've actually started going through my closet and I was like, brand new hat, brand new this, brand new that. I was like, all right, I don't need that. All right. that
Yeah,
one,
so
this one.
when you guys all see this, you'll already know about Saturday.
Yeah.
But Saturday, I teased this a little bit this morning on Whatnot. I was in Sugar Sandwich's show, and he's up northeast with me. He's out State College, and I may or may not have bought his Pins and Aces orange bag to match my best buddy. And he was doing his ball markers, and I was like, "You need a FTF one." He's like, "Where do I get them?" And I'm like, "Watch my
I
show on
know a
Saturday.
guy.
Watch my show on Saturday."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we got that. Like I have some brand new pins, polos that, not really my style. So like, still a great polo, just not for me.
I
And
will swipe in my own show, just so you know. I
yeah,
will
it's
swipe in
fine.
my own show.
That's fine. So like I'm starting to get all that stuff together. We're gonna have a guest host.
Really excited about that.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a guest host, and we're gonna.
Well, he's experienced, so we'll let him kind of
Yeah. We'll
show
let
us
him
the
do all
Whatnot
that.
ropes. Yeah.
Yeah. But Lou will be co-hosting there, and then Luke will be co-hosting there, and it's gonna be a long one.
Oh, it's gonna be a
Actually,
long one.
we're gonna say goodbye now because I gotta talk something before I spill the beans on here.
All right.
So, all right, guys, thank you for everything. If anyone needs anything, let us know. Follow Marcus Maddox
Tour.
and the R3 tour. And if you need anything, like always, let us know.
I'm moving to Georgia. You're gonna have all the